The next speaker is Mr. Dominic. He's the Chief of the Maritime Navigation Division and Arctic Source Lead for the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency, NGA. And he's going to talk about NGA Arctic website and the International Hydrographic Organization Arctic Maritime Spatial Data Infrastructure Project.
Thank you.
Keith.
Right. Thank you. So I'm going to talk about the International Hydrographic Office Arctic Maritime Spatial Data Infrastructure and our website on nga.mil. So first, you probably wonder, why is National Geospatial Intelligence going to talk about the International Hydrographic Office? So the first slide is going to show you exactly what makes up, who does the charting for the United States. So you have the NOAA, as you've seen. They do the charting out to the EZ, so about 200 miles off the coast of Alaska, they would do it. After you reach that 200 miles, that's when NGA steps in and does the charting for the areas. And we rely on Navigation for the surveys for that data to build our charts outside there. So these are your three primary charting authorities for the United States in the general sense. There are exceptions to this, but in general, these are the folks that are providing charts and navigations to the mariners out at sea for the United States. So look at the IHO. The IHO has 87 member states right now, you can see. Now, these are coordinated hydrographic activities, cooperations at the regional levels. So since there's so many 87 nations, they get together every 3 years right now. Since there's so many, they broke it up into areas, which is the graph on the right there. You can see the different areas. So obviously for this audience, the ARHC is of interest, and that's the Arctic Regional Hydrographic Commission. So what it allows is the member states that have waters in there to actually meet once a year to discuss the hydrographic needs and the charting needs for the area. So we zoom into the Arctic Regional Hydrographic Commission. As you can see here, you can see the member states. So to be a member, you have to actually have water on there. So you see Canada, Denmark, Norway, Russia, United States are the members. And then we have associate members, Finland and Iceland. So the main point of this is the latest meetings was a Arctic Regional Marine Spatial Data Infrastructure Working Group, which is I'm going to talk about what that is. So they started talking about it in 2015, but last year in 2016 was when the kickoff was started to actually get it moving. And then you can see right now who are members of the Arctic Marine Data Working Group right there. So the only one that is missing is Russia right now, and we're hoping the upcoming the 7th meeting, which is going to be in Greenland next month, we will have a Russia representative join that group as well, is our goal. So we'll have all the members right now. So what is SDI? Is abbreviated Spatial Data Infrastructure in the marine world. This is what it actually stands for. So we are looking at the relative-based collection of technology policy instruments. We're looking across the board, across the maritime world, and finding out what data we can release to the public as best it can. And so with the Arctic nations, providing their hydrographic information out to the public is the real goal, because when we build charts, we leave a lot of stuff on the cutting room floor. There's a lot of bathymetry data, a lot of information we have to make it simpler, easier for mariners to navigate on those charts. So the goal of the MSDI is to start looking at that information and providing it more to the general public, and not just looking as a hydrographic office, looking at just providing products to mariners, but more to the whole world, scientific, and anybody else that wants that data that we're leaving on the open floor. So that's what the base of what MSDI is. So it makes it more discoverable, accessible, and interoperable across all of our offices. So this is a quick graphic to show you kind of what we're seeing. So if we provide our data out, so you have a 4-meter sounding that goes into a database, a bathymetry database, and then we can provide it out to search and rescue, the fisheries. Anybody that wants that information, they don't have to pull from a chart. They can pull from another way, any way they get it. So you get away from your typical navigation charts that mariners typically have, and have other users be able to pull this data in a different mindset. So the goal of this is we come up with the cool name of ARMDWSGI, so it's Arctic Regional Maritime Spatial Data Infrastructure Working Group. If we can provide this data out from the hydrographics out to the customers, besides the mariners, the goal is to get those customers that are using this to push stuff back into the hydrographics, so we can get the knowledge from the area up there in the Arctic back to us to find out, make our charts better, more information. So you see a lot with the bathymetries, with companies going up there and doing surveys and stuff and providing that data out. we're hoping we can get that back into the hydrographic office and make our charts better, more information that we can then provide out to other customers. So the goal is to create a circle where we can push data out and receive data in, and it's a whole circle to provide that to not just the mariners, but to anybody that needs that data in the Arctic. So to start this, we NGA, as the chair of the group, stood up a website to start showing how we can start doing this. So I invite you guys, when you have a chance, to go to our website, nga.mil, and you'll scroll down there. There's other Arctic stuff on there, but we'll start about the MSDI stuff. You'll see NGA GeoInt service. You click that, and you get to 3 unclassified websites you can pull data from. Right there is you have your Arctic support data. So if you click on the Arctic support, you'll be able to get all this information here, now freely available to the public. These are all shapefiles that can be pulled down and used any way you want. There's also some map products you see on the right that'll display it. But again, you can pull these down. There's products, NGA sailing directions, or navigation textbooks about navigating into the area. You can pull our aeronautical charts for the area. There's boundaries and claims from the U.S. State Department that we have on there that you can pull down to have those shapefiles. The search and rescue areas. So a lot of the stuff you guys saw earlier in the last 3 days, there are shapefiles here you can pull down and you can use it any way you want. And again, this just starts the dialogue where you can pull the stuff down. If you have stuff to provide back to us, we'll take it and we can turn it around and add to our website as well. So we want to start that dialogue where we share information back and forth. So this is an example of what we could do. So there's a file where you zoom into it and you want to see the port facilities or airfields, 2 different examples. It'll give you information. So I used Barrel here. It'll show you the location of it. If you can actually scroll down, you scroll down, it gives you more information. It'll tell you about the port, what kind of ships it can take. As it changes, we track that and we'll update the information. The same thing for airfields. It'll tell you the location of all the airfields that are up in the Arctic. It'll tell you the length of runways and what kind of planes could land there. So that's kind of information that we're trying to build, really a foundation layer of the Arctic, where if you want to know about information, what's happening there, you can go to our website. So again, these are all the ports and all the airfields and all those other shapefiles on the previous slide here. You can do the same thing as that. So I invite you guys to go check it out. We also have the Arctic digital elevation model. So I believe you heard about that previously. So this is actually updated. So we just updated in June of last month. And you see all these red dots. Those are all down to the 2-meter scale now, 2-meter resolution. So that's a pretty impressive job that we've done. And you can pull all these digital elevation models off and do what you want with them. So again, they're all freely available right from our website, nga.mil. Same, you go to the Arctic website and you can pull them down the assembler. So then you start questioning about what you can do with digital elevation models. So one example that has been used is in Sweden at the national park. You can see there's snow machines that run from this point up. This is a typical unclassified digital globe imagery that just has of the area of the Sweden park. So if we take our elevation models that we've created over this area, what do you get to see? You can actually now see the snow machine tracks because you get down to that 2-meter scales and you can see what's happening in the Arctic. So again, if I go back, this is all available at the 2-meter scales that you can freely take. And so this is all to start showing that the U.S. government's here to give information. We're trying to get that network going. We get information back to help us really get more information where we don't have it. So it's trying to engage folks to share information back and forth to help us build the information we have in the Arctic. So that concludes me. I'll try to get close on time for you. So I figured there's going to be questions about charts. So I'm quick.
Well, you got me by surprise. Thank you.
That's right.
Very good presentation. Any questions for Keith and NGA? There must be questions. Nanette, wait for one of the microphones.
Keith, thank you for that excellent overview of these tools that we can use as resources. My question is, I was just thinking through a little bit the Arctic Council's use of IRMA for continuity picture, and I was wondering if you could highlight some of the data sets that are either being shared with them, or if there is in fact a relationship. Thank you.
So actually there's not a relationship right now, so when I saw that brief I was interested, so that, I think we need to tie into them closer. Obviously this is just finishing our first year of the Arctic MSDI, so we are working with the SDI program, which is through almost through the council as well, the Arctic Council, which is looking at the topo side. So we are combining with the Spatial Data Infrastructure SDI program, which is the chair right now is USGS. So it works well that they're the chair of the SDI and we're the chair of the MSDI. So the last meeting of the Spatial Data Infrastructure looks more at the topo side of things. They met, and then the MSDI group met right with them, right after them. So they did start combining that. So we are working closer with them as well.
I have a question. Is this Arctic MSDI that you're doing?
MSDI, yes.
Different from anything that you're doing anywhere in the anywhere else?
So I don't know if I can go back that far. Sure I can. So the MSDI is actually something that the IHO itself is pushing through all the regions. So if I get back to the regional, you see here, there are some areas that are starting it being more aggressive. The Arctic is one of them. The Baltic is another one. The Caribbean is another area. NGA is the chair of the Caribbean one, doing the same thing in the MOC area as well. So the IHO is starting to look at this because as you hear, the Arctic is very lacking resource data for bathymetry data, but there is the rest of the world as well is lacking hydrographic data as well. So this is one way they're trying to address it worldwide and targeting areas that's more significant, like the Arctic, where it can help.
I appreciate that, but if you need help in the Caribbean,
we could send you down there to give us some data.
Yeah, sure. I have a couple of online questions for you. Sure. Why didn't Russia join the meeting in 2016?
So Russia they are a member of the Arctic Regional Hydrographic Commission. They are just not right now a member of the working group for the MSDI. They haven't provided a name. Hopefully at the next Arctic Regional Hydrographic Commission, we hope to get a name is our goal, which is next month.
Okay, and why, not how come, that would be less appropriate. Why there's more coverage in parts of Russia and Canada, or perhaps higher resolution than in Alaska, in terms of the DM?
So Alaska was the first one we did, actually. Was with President Obama's trip up there is what really kicked off the DIM initiative. So Alaska is pretty well covered with all 2 meters. So
yeah, so this person is probably reacting to the fact that it looks like you have more coverage in
so it might not come
Russia.
well online. I don't know. This is all red here, so that's all down to 2 meters. This is all 2 meters. This here is less resolution here, so it's less.
Okay, but resolution. There are areas that look more red or
Oh,
darker. What does that mean in your mind?
It's more condensed, so obviously it's more cells that's going to have 2 meters. Yes.
Is there any reason for that in Canada there and also over Greenland?
It's just that can. So it's Greenland. It's just where we can get the data and the manpower to run the programs, processing.
Okay, sounds like a good answer. Any other? Oh, there's one here. Ali?
Hi, thank you, that was great. To tag on the other question about the Arctic Council, there was an initiative that was called AMADI, and I'm not sure that I'll remember the acronym correctly, but it was Aviation and Maritime Infrastructure, and I think it was compiled, I want to say it was under the Arctic Council, but also maybe like the Institute of the North, and it's available online, and it looks very similar to sort of what you have where you can click on a piece of infrastructure and information pops up. Are you comparing your
I mean, the examples I showed was the ports and airfields, but that is what the MSDI is really looking into the ocean more as well. So not just the infrastructure per se of what the port you have, but the maritime infrastructure, how deep the water is, if there's buoys, if there are pinnacles sticking up, that's going to cause navigation safety issues. So we're looking at the safety of navigation ships to provide information to them that's sailing through the areas. That answers the question. Okay.
Was there a second question behind? If not, thank you very much, Keith. I appreciate it.